Hello friends, I'm Kayla. Welcome back to my channel. This is another casual Wednesday video. I was gonna try to think of something more creative to do, to be honest, but I was up until 4 a.m. filming a video and I'm tired. So this is what I've got for you today. I haven't done one in 2 months. Let's start with the one that, oh my god, matches my shirt. It's A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock. I'm gonna start with my stack of brand new releases. There's like, I don't know, I don't want to count them, 14 of them maybe, and then like 6 other thrift store buys. I haven't read this yet, but I do believe it's about 2 men and they create this a creature girl. One of them works in taxidermic art and the other is in exotic plants. They acquire a strange fungus and it shows signs of intelligence beyond any plant that they've seen before. I want to read this so bad, and so I will. Oh, this is good to show you because then I can tell you that the live show for Night Watching by Tracy Sierra is coming up on Saturday at 10 a.m. PST. If you want to talk about this, you have a couple more days to read it. It is a suspense novel about a woman whose house gets broken into in the middle of the night and she has to protect her 2 children in this like secret hideaway room in her house. A lot more happens that I wasn't expecting in the plot, and I'm excited to talk to you about that. Another book club selection. This was actually not a new release that I bought. It was sent to me by the publisher, Dutton. It's called You Know What You Did by Katie Nguyen. And this is about a woman who has OCD. She has disturbing fixations, but there is actual dead people around her and there is a mystery to be solved, and perhaps she's going to be implicated in something, or her daughter is, or her husband is. Also, she might have killed her mother in the opening scene. Very excited to read that with you. One that I've already read, I bought Almost Surely Dead by Amina Akhtar, and this is about a woman who has like a podcast made about her because she disappeared and that people are trying to find her. It's a little like tongue-in-cheek satirical version of a true crime podcast, and this woman has had a lot of bad things happen to her. Like people seem to be trying to kill her, and also maybe it's a djinn. So we visit her in childhood. There's a lot of storytelling, supernatural concepts in here, and it's just an interesting mystery. I can't remember what I rated it. I feel like it was in the 3s. This one is heavy and I just picked this up. It's called Shakespeare for Every Night of the Year, edited by Colin Salter. There is a collection of like poetry books like this that I own, a poem for every night of the year. I don't know if it's by like the same people or anything about it, but there is a little Shakespeare scene for every day, and you read it and then you're happy. I imagine that's what's gonna happen to me. I just bought it. Another one I just bought, and I was gonna read this month, but somebody told me, one of my members said that this is actually more like explicit romantasy than you might expect, so I decided to assign it to my unofficial official Smut of the Month club that we talk about in my members Discord. Every month there's a book that I pick that's just like a little more explicit than what I typically read, and if you're on that journey with me, then you have a discussion place for it. This is The Emperor and the Endless Palace by Justinian Huang, and I really don't remember the plot. In the year 4 BC, an ambitious courtier is called upon to seduce a young emperor, but quickly discovers they are both ruled by blood, sex, and intrigue. In 1740, a lonely innkeeper agrees to help a mysterious visitor procure a rare medicine, only to unleash an otherworldly terror instead. And in present-day Los Angeles, a college student meets a beautiful stranger and cannot shake the feeling they've met before. Oh yeah, these people, like it's the same people, and they're meeting throughout history. As their many lives intertwine, they begin to realize the power of their undying love, a power that transcends time itself, but one that might consume them both. That sounds like it was made for me. I hope I love it. This one I've already read, Our Moon, How Earth's Celestial Companion Transformed the Planet, Guided Evolution, and Made Us Who We Are by Rebecca Boyle. I don't think it needs any more of a pitch than that. Perfectly describes itself. I thought it was very interesting, a mix of things that I already know and new things to learn. Of course, yesterday was the release day of Funny Story by Emily Henry, so I did indeed stay up until 4 a.m. reading it. It's a romance between 2 people who are just broken up with by their partners who decided that they would rather be together. So they are both reeling from that and are roommates all of a sudden and decide to like fake date to make the other two jealous because fuck them. What's next? I grabbed The Har. This one, I cannot very well explain myself. It's by David Sodergren. And when I talked about this in another video, somebody said, oh, you're reading extreme horror. And I was like, oh, is that what I bought? Most of the time when I see someone talk about a book online, I will like screenshot it if it sounds interesting. I'll put it in a little folder on my phone and someday in the future I'll buy it. This one, I don't know why, but I immediately bought it. I can't remember where I saw it, the pitch, but something made me order it immediately. And I think I thought it was a novella. Well, it's 200 pages, so it is more of a novella. And I wanted to read more weird short things this year, so I just bought it. And it's about Muriel, who lives in a Scottish fishing village. Someone's threatening to evict her. And then I think there's this like creature that comes out of the water and brings redemption and madness and death. Oh, then it says romantic and deranged. The Har is a gore-soaked folk horror fairy tale. I wish I could remember why, like what it was that made me want this. Anyway, I own it now. Maybe I'll read it. That'd be good. Okay, this pre-order came in, Icarus by Kay Ingram. Do I remember what this is? No. Do I care what this is? Oh yeah, no, I know. Icarus Gallagher is a thief. He steals a lot of artwork, replaces it with forgeries. And then he gets caught by this other boy. I think like this is YA, so are they teenagers? Anyway, he gets caught and they create a friendship, romance? I don't know. Then I bought this one, They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us by Hanif Abdurraqib. It is a collection of essays that I'll be reading very soon. I bought A Sweet Sting of Salt. I still prefer this cover, but this is the one that my bookstore had. It's by Rose Sutherland, and it's like a fairy tale folklore story set in Nova Scotia where this girl discovers a magical secret about her neighbor. They have a baby. I think she's a midwife, and the baby is weird, and the mother can't speak. So it's like inspired by the Selkie wife. Next, my pre-order came in for The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, which is beautiful on the inside. This is set in the Spanish Golden Age, following a character named Lucia using scraps of magic to get through her day. She gets noticed by Antonio Perez, the disgraced secretary to Spain's king, and she's determined to seize a chance to better her fortunes. She gets caught up in a world of magic, science, fraud, the world of seers and alchemists. I think it's gonna be good. I don't think I've really seen many people talk about it yet. Are people loving it? Have you read it? Let me know. I also bought The Trees brand new because I needed it for a video and I wanted to read it, by Percival Everett. This is about this crime that occurs where this dead body is found and there's another dead body, but then when they go to take them to the morgue, the one body disappears, and then the crime keeps happening all around the country, and that dead body that keeps disappearing looks the same in every scenario. It's this satirical mystery. It was very interesting. I talked about it in my latest video. Another one I talked about in a recent video is Ella Minope by Mark Dunn. Look how this is a brand new one I bought. They like missed the corners of it, I guess, in their big cutting machine. So it's a fun little copy. This is a series of letters between people on this island as the powers that be decide that they are no longer going to use like letters of the alphabet. So they delete Z and then they delete X, and you have to change your vocabulary, and there's punishments if you don't. It was really interesting. I grabbed Immortal Pleasures by V. Castro. This is about an Aztec immortal vampire and her avenging her conquered people, it says, traveling the world to reclaim their stolen artifacts and return them to their homelands. She has a lot of sex in here. She has this fated relationship with another entity. There is funny little modern takes on things. I'm going to review that in my next video. Keep an eye out. I also have The Mystery Writer by Solari Gentile. This is about this woman who leaves behind her life she was a student, she's becoming a lawyer, and has decided she wants to be a novelist instead. She starts going to this bar slash cafe every day to write a novel. She meets a famous novelist there. A tragedy occurs, and she is now investigating a mystery, but also in deep danger. That's that one. I reviewed Butcher and Blackbird already in a video. I want to get this out of my house. It was not exactly all that I dreamed as a dark romantic comedy. It's about two serial killers and their romance as they decide if they want to be together over a very long period of time. I also have this book, No One Dies Yet by Cobby Ben Ben, which is about a group of individuals who are inviting others into Ghana to get to know their land and learn about their enslaved ancestors. We have two very different guides involved who are narrating the story and the murders that they want to commit. I grabbed Grey Dog by Elliot Gish, which is a horror folktale. We have a girl moving to a new town, accepting a teaching position. Her past is riddled with grief and shame, and she begins to witness strange and grisly phenomenon. A swarm of dying crickets, a self-mutilating rabbit, a malformed fawn. People keep recommending this to me. Even though it barely has any readers on Goodreads, I swear it has like 200 reviews. All 200 of those people immediately told me that I also have to read it. I swear, maybe it's just like the rabbit of it all, but I'm very intrigued. I grabbed a short story collection, another one by Eric LaRocca. This is called This Skin Was Once Mine. I don't know how many stories are in here. Maybe four? 4 devastating tales from a master of modern horror. A man dies under mysterious circumstances. A young man's father calls him early in the morning to say that his mother has passed away. He arrives home to find his mother's body still in the house. There's one where a man goes to buy a knife for his husband to use at a dinner party. He encounters a strange shopkeeper. There's one where 2 old men revive a cruel game with devastating consequences. Ooh, I want to read that one. Hopefully this will happen soon, and I'll let you know. And then lastly, for brand new stuff that I bought, of course, The Angel of Indian Lake by Stephen Graham Jones, the latest book in the... Does it say? What the heck is this series called? Oh yeah, it's the Indian Lake trilogy. It started with My Heart is a Chainsaw, and then Don't Fear the Reaper. And then this is going to be the end of Jade's story. I can't tell you what has been happening with Jade, but she is a horror movie connoisseur. She also has a lot of trauma and a good heart, and I can't wait to see what happens in here. Speaking of Stephen Graham Jones, actually, and just made me think about it because this book also has shark in the title. This I found at the thrift store. I was so excited. This is one of my like favorite finds ever. But if anybody out there, this is a random, like very unlikely thing to work out, I'm sure. But if anybody out there watching this has a copy of this book by Stephen Graham Jones, it's like Sharks with Razor Blade Teeth or something like that. I need it and I can't find it anywhere. I don't think there's an audiobook or an ebook because it came out a really long time ago. If anybody owns it and was like planning on unhauling it, I would like to buy it, please. Or if you just own it and like it's part of your beautiful Stephen Graham Jones collection, I'm very happy for you. Can you like loan it to me? Like, I just really need this book. I need to read it in a couple months and I cannot get my hands on it and it's driving me crazy. So if by chance anybody has a copy, would love to borrow it from you. Okay. This is Raw Shark Texts. This has been recommended to me a lot. It's by Stephen Hall. I've been keeping an eye out for an edition of it and I never even saw this one until I saw it. And it's written in a fun format. Not all of it, but there are moments where there are these fun, I forget what these are called. I feel like I had to make some of these when I was in elementary school where you put the words to form a picture, whatever that word is. And then there's some pages where there's just a shark coming at you. And I think it's gonna be fun, even though I don't know the plot. If you're reading this, I'm not around anymore. Take the phone and speed dial 1. Tell the woman who answers that you're Eric Sanderson. The woman is Dr. Randall. She'll understand what has happened and you'll be able to see her straight away. Take the car keys and drive the yellow Jeep to Dr. Randall's house. If you haven't found it yet, there's a map in the envelope. It isn't too far and it isn't too hard to find. Dr. Randall will be able to answer all of your questions. It's very important that you go straight away. Do not pass go. Do not explore. Do not collect 200 pounds. The house keys are hanging from a nail on the banister at the bottom of the stairs. Don't forget them. With regret and also hope, the first Eric Sanderson. I didn't even know what this was. Ooh, fun. It was on my TBR just because of the way that people told me that it was similar writing to other things that I've enjoyed, like House of Leaves. Now, all of my successful thrift finds. Let's get into them. It might shock you, I know even less about these ones than the last stack because I don't need very much at all convincing to buy a book I see at the thrift store when it's only a couple dollars. What My Bones Know by Stephanie Fu. The only thing I know about this is where it says a memoir of healing from complex trauma. That's it. No more information needed. I recently read The Memory Police by Yoko Agawa, and I saw this one. It's called Revenge, and it is 11 Dark Tales from the same author. I thought it would be a good time. Also, I do believe it came out in a year that I have to complete for 1998. I think that's on my list of ones I need to complete to find a 5-star every year I've been born. Next up, oh, this was from Thrift Books, and then they sent me a different cover. I wanted the one with the rabbit, but now it looks like the one with the rabbit is only the audiobook, so perhaps I was mistaken. This is The Magician's Assistant by Ann Patchett. It will be my first Ann Patchett, and it's about a girl, and the magician she has assisted for 20 years requests her help. No, he dies, and his wife requests her help. There, she learns the truth about Parsifal and discovers her own unimagined magical powers. Sure. I did buy it for a reason, I swear. I also found None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, which I read and reviewed in a recent video, which follows... What is this about? This is about a woman who wants to be a part of this podcast. There's this podcaster, we have 2 main characters, and this one woman has had a really dark life. A lot has happened to her, and she wants to be on this podcast to tell her story. And she does so. I found Behold the Dreamers by Mbolo Mbui, which I definitely didn't read the plot of. I just bought it because I loved her other thing. We're following a Cameroonian immigrant living in Harlem who has come to the United States for a better life for him and his wife and their 6-year-old son. He can hardly believe his luck when he lands a job as a chauffeur. However, the world of great privilege conceals troubled secrets, and soon he and his wife notice cracks in their employer's facade. Then the financial world is rocked with the collapse of whatever, and their marriage threatens to fall apart. All right, there you go. Is it good? Let me know. My mom took me to the used bookstore, this really pretty used bookstore, for my birthday, and she bought me a book. This I borrowed from the library recently and then DNF'd after a couple chapters and returned, but it was calling to me. And when I did DNF it, people told me I needed to commit to it. So I'm going to. 5 years ago, Gita lost her no-good husband, as in she actually lost him. He walked out on her and she has no idea where he is. In her remote village in India, rumor has it that Gita killed him, and it's a rumor that just won't die. It turns out people thinking that she's a killer is actually good for her like social standing, her business. But now other people are asking for her expertise to murder their own husbands. It sounds like a fun, wild time. I can't even remember why I DNF'd it, but I will continue. I grabbed Lullabies for Little Criminals by Heather O'Neill just because I saw it on the shelf, and I was thinking about reading this for a TikTok favorites video you might have watched, and I actually really don't know the plot. I just know a lot of people love this. At 13, Baby vacillates between childhood comforts and adult temptation. Still young enough to drag her dolls around in vinyl suitcases, yet old enough to know more than she should about urban cruelties. Motherless, she lives with her father, who takes better care of his heroin habit than he does of his daughter. Baby's gift is a genius for spinning stories and for cherishing the small crumbs of happiness that fall into her lap, but her blossoming beauty has captured the attention of a charismatic and dangerous local pimp who runs an army of sad, slavishly devoted girls. A volatile situation even the normally oblivious Jules cannot ignore. And when an escape disguised as betrayal threatens to crush Baby's spirit, she will ultimately realize the power of salvation rests in her hands alone. Oh, couldn't have told you that. And lastly, my friends, best for last, Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I bet none of you thought that I would ever read this, but I will be reading it in November, and it is the Smut of the Month unofficial official book club selection for November. If you want to read something that is about romance, it's apparently one of the top 100 romance novels of all time on Goodreads, and I've seen it a lot even though it came out like 10 years ago. Let's read. I wanted to lose myself in the small town of Pelion, Maine, to forget everything I'd left behind, the sound of rain, the blood, the coldness of a gun against my skin. For 6 months, each breath has been a reminder that I survived and my dad didn't. Sad. I'm almost safe again, but the moment I meet Archer Hale, oh, Archer, got it. My entire world tilts on its axis and never rights itself again. I bought this for reasons that aren't necessarily my, like, interest in the plot because I didn't read it, but just because I'm completing a video. Until I trespass into his strange, silent, and isolated world, Archer communicates with no one. Yet in his whiskey-colored eyes, something intangible happens between us. There's so much more to him than just his beauty, his presence, or the way his hands communicate with me, on me. But this town is mired in secrets and betrayals, and Archer is the explosive center of it all. So much passion and so much hurt, but it's in Archer's silence that we might just find what we need to heal and to live. What is the plot? That was not a synopsis. Okay, I'm gonna be reading this. Read it with me, or tell me how worried you may be for me picking it up. And that's everything that I bought in the last 2 months or was sent or whatever. Let me know what you think about all of them. If you think these were good financial decisions of mine, or if I'm gonna hate something here, or what I should prioritize. Anything you want to tell me down below, I'll listen. Love you a lot as a friend, and I'll see you in a couple days with a video.